All right, so we're back at One Straw Farm again today. Today we are going to put a little toolbox on the tractor and also install a hydraulic top link. Christine just started the tractor, which we had parked over here next to the tractor shed, and we're pulling it up over here sort of in the middle of the tractor yard so that we can just work on it a little easier. All right, so we've got this little handy dandy toolbox that evidently goes right here on your tractor. Yeah, I can feel the holes. And it allows you to keep some little parts and bins. These are original to the tractors. This is a remanufactured one, obviously. We have to figure this out because, one, it didn't come with any hardware. You can see it's got 2 bolts that are welded into the box that go into the floorboard, and then there's a place for a bolt to go into the axle housing, but I don't know what size bolt that is. So I brought a few different things with me. Hopefully we can figure it out and get this installed. And then once this is installed, this is where our like hitch pins and all that kind of stuff will go get stored. All right, so at this point, it's time to climb under the tractor and figure out what size bolt is needed to mount the small toolbox to the chassis of the tractor. There's actually, in one of the, I guess, shaft arms coming off the main chassis, there's actually a pre-threaded hole, if you will, in the tractor body that is meant to accept the bolt that holds this bin on. It turns out that is a 1/2 inch size, I guess, bolt. I brought a whole bunch of them with me of different sizes that were in the general neighborhood, figuring that I would find the right one. And the one that was there was actually caked in mud and dirt. So I had to take like sort of a small pick tool and clean that out. And then I cleaned it out with PB brake or power blaster, you know, sort of a WD-40 type substance, and then ran the right size screw up into the hole and chased it out and cleaned it out before having to then modify the screw that I had because it was way too long. It only needed to be about 3 or 4 threads long to go and secure that bin in place. There you go. So that to that.
Pretty major.
You know, and that's just enough. This will go into the threads, which I pre-threaded. You see the brown? That's where I sprayed some PB brake in there and got the dirt and rust out of it and kind of tapped it in. So that should be enough. That's as far as it went easily.
And you factored in the thickness of the tab too?
Yep. It only needs like 3 or 4 threads is plenty to hold that in place and strong. So that should be, you know, that much. Perfect. Let's try it. This connects to this tread, and I'm just bending it. It's been a little jacked up. Nobody's ever put a toolbox on this thing before. Just kind of straightening out the edge of the tread so that it should meet up nicely. There we go. Then we have a toolbox, and I've got a variety of different things here that should work. I've got a couple of 5/16 nuts with nylon locks in them. So that should keep these guys in place. And if I need these washers, I'll use them. I'm not sure if I'm going to need them or not, but let's see how this fits in here with that bent into place. All right, that seems to go pretty good. All right, that looks good. I am going to see if I can pre-thread this one to hold it up in place. This should be pretty good. Find where our spot is. That's good. All right, so that's finger tight. And then I am going to slide this piece of cardboard underneath here so I can see underneath the foot tread.
I was going to say it's probably easier to go from this side of the wheel, but it's too much fun watching you inch.
Well, and also, honestly, this is the direction I need to be, you know? Like the other way, I'm kind of weird upside down in an awkward position, even though this is a little dumb being under here like this. Does that look straight or not straight, or does it not matter?
That looks straight right there.
Okay, that's what I'm going with then. All right, see how that box works. This is really funny though, because this whole step is bent. I can see, that's why. There should be a bag of goodies that go in there now.
Let me find said bag of goodies. You're gonna go on that side. Tell me what they all are as we put them in.
Stuff.
What's this?
Those are adapter sleeves for the couplers for implements, so that will adapt from a 1-point hitch implement to a 2-point ball.
2 of those?
Yep, 2 of those.
Ooh,
those are snap
these?
rings. That's what I smashed my thumb on the other day. There should be a bunch of those, because just, you know.
Or 6 of these.
So toss those in there.
I got these guys.
Safety pins.
Not like your mother's kids.
Yeah, that's what came with the tractor. It wasn't holding it together. Those are cotter pins for the end of...
and that's it.
Yep.
All
Yeah.
in this handy little...
Yep. Snap it shut. Push it down until it clicks. Boom. All right, so the next item of business is installing a new hydraulic valve on the tractor, which it's never had, and then its associated brackets and hydraulic top link. So the one we purchased online came in Ford Blue, and prior to coming out to One Straw Farm, we pre-painted those parts so that they match the tractor's original red scheme, and it's now time to get all of that installed. So the first thing we have is we have a hydraulic top link. That's the whole point of this. This one is manufactured by or branded as Grizzly for the 801 series tractors, and I believe the 601 as well. You are going to want the bore stroke 2-inch to 8-inch. That's going to be the optimal top link for you. Depending on what implements you are running or what tractor you have, you may find that you need a slightly different size top link. They're all going to be pretty much the same thing. I got these at Ag Supply, or I got this one at Ag Supply. I've seen a bunch of people use this particular one. They're very happy with it. It easily lifts the maximum 1,500 pound capacity of this tractor. So this should work out good for me. I also know for a fact that the 2 to 8 inch throw is optimal for this tractor. Like I said, they offer them in different sizes as far as how short they are when they're completely compressed and how long they go out from that thing. And you're probably going to want to do a little bit of research on your particular tractor and which one is best for you. The next piece that we're going to need, and this is a kit that I believe I got from Steiner Tractor, is the actual valve. So this kit comes with a bracket for mounting hoses. It comes with the valve, which is going to replace that top plate. It also comes with a couple of hoses that connect from this valve to the bracket, the associated quick connect valves and different fittings, the bolts to secure them, and the O-rings to secure them into the top of the hydraulic system, a lever for using your valve control. So that's what comes in that kit. Then there are some other things that you're going to need. So you are going to need a couple of hoses that will connect from the quick coupler on this kit to your hydraulic top link. You're also going to need the fittings that allow you to connect these hoses to the top link itself, as well as the quick connects that will then couple to this system. What that's giving you is it's giving you enough hose to utilize your top link, move your implement up and down without anything binding. It's also giving you the opportunity so that you can disconnect this top link from your tractor and just unconnect your 2 hydraulic lines, and all of this and this stay together, don't leak, they disconnect quickly. This stays on your tractor, which then would allow you to use another hydraulically activated item if you so chose. But that's the 2 pieces. This came from Ag Supply. This came from Steiner Tractor. These, I think I sourced locally. I think that I got maybe 2 of the fittings from Ag Supply because they had them. I want to say I got the hoses and the other 2 fittings from Tractor Supply, but they're widely available, and I will tell you the exact parts in the list down below. So I have a little diagram that came with our kit and instructions on how to do it. Gonna need a couple of wrenches, gonna need some Teflon tape for sealing up my hydraulic connections, and let's get doing it. All right, so here is the top plate for the hydraulic system. Actually, there's a bunch of crud here. Let's see if we can find something to wipe this off. We definitely don't want to get dust and crud into our hydraulics. That would be bad. All right, so that's tidied off.
I was wondering if I should have brought a brush or something.
Yeah, it'll be fine. All right, hopefully.
I was going to ask if I could loosen them, and then I thought,
well, this is one of those things where they may be painted shut. Yeah. They may just be, but it's been.
You need the impacty.
Yeah.
Thingy.
It's been years, if ever. There we go. I don't want to mess them up. I want to give them a little oomph, but here we go. So they're coming, once they crack loose, they're painted. I can see the paint cracking as I give them a little tap. Over the years, this tractor's probably been worked on a bunch of times, and as they did it and
you know, they just wear like little paint, little paint, little paint.
I have a feeling in 5 years that'll be us.
I mean, I can see that this tractor is original with the red paint, but it also has a lot of blue parts on it, meaning those things have been fixed over the years and taken off of other tractors.
Well, it's interesting because they have the
All right. So that's
it's
that.
like red paint over blue or blue paint over red. It's
Yeah.
hard to tell which direction.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, some of these different arms and things definitely are, they were originally red, they were painted blue in the great cover-up.
At least
And
that's
then
the
they were
story.
taken off of another tractor to keep this one running. So,
The Franken tractor.
so this should be pretty straightforward. Again, I've seen this done once. I have
That middle large one doesn't need to be
Nope.
taken out?
just these 4 on the corners. I'm just gonna leave them sit
Okay.
right here for now until we figure out what's going on. I think that the new ones that are supplied are direct replacements, but all right, so that's interesting. That's a long one. Well, no, I mean, this
It looks like
often
that one is
happens,
too.
but I want to pay attention to what's
Yeah.
going in what. Okay, so this side has long bolts, this side has short bolts, so that's interesting. I'm gonna need a persuader of some sort.
Ball peen hammer. George's
Persuader
weapon of choice.
Well, it's just that I'm sure it's painted on here. And so that's interesting. I'm gonna wait, stop. I'm gonna have to stop. Let's stop what I'm doing for a second. Unbolt block off plate on lift cover, 4 bolts. Clean the exposed lift cover surface. Remove old O-rings. So it doesn't say anything about any of these needed to be removed, but that feels like it doesn't want to come off. So I'm curious. I don't think there's anything that can happen if I loosen these as well.
Ooh, you've got some leakage.
Yeah, that's fine. This is see, this feels like maybe this is a bolt that needs to come out. I don't know. Boom!
Well, that was exciting.
A little bit of pressure there. That was not what I expected exactly. Boom!
Well, that was exciting.
A little bit of pressure there, but there we go. Definitely got to clean this up. A little bit of leak, you know, a little bit of this is not a big deal.
Okay.
This I don't care about so much. Like I said, we'll clean this up after the fact. All right, so it says,
Is me doing this helpful or not helpful?
I don't really, just keep dirt away from the flat surface. All right, so it comes with 4 bolts. They look very similar to what we were given. Comes with a bunch of O-rings. It feels like, okay, I see now. All right, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 O-rings. This is how the old system routed. This is this here. We're not going to need this anymore, but I'm going to keep it just in case. So it appears that we're going to go small O-ring, big O-ring. Actually, this is kind of weird because I don't know for positive which ones go where. It just tells me to do it.
This, by the way, kids, is when you've got the circles and the squares and you're fitting everything together. This is the practical application of
Yeah.
why that kind of stuff is helpful.
So I'm putting my new O-rings into my new valve, which will become the cover. I'm assuming this fat one goes in the round one. It's the one that's different. The other two are a little skinnier. Well, maybe not. Maybe this one goes in here. Let's see if this fits here better. It does seem to fit there better. Does this one fit in here better? Like that would, yes. Okay. So.
Figured it out.
Figure it out. That's what the directions say. The directions don't say anything. They just say put these in. So as you can see, we've got our O-rings in our different spots, and that should literally be it for this. Now this comes, if you notice, this was painted Ford blue. I don't know if they all come Ford blue or not, or if they come different colors depending on what tractor you're putting it on. But basically, this sits directly back in place. And
So you painted this?
I painted this myself, yes.
Lovely job, George.
You will see that in a different video. You probably already saw it. Long bolts on the left side, according to what I took out. Short bolts on the right. Well, yeah, I'm looking at it. Sitting on the tractor, on the left side, the short bolts go on. On the right-hand side, the long bolts go on. I don't know what size this is. Hopefully
11/16.
this is the same size.
Nope.
No, it is not.
Happy guess. Let's see.
It is smaller, for sure.
Let's try 5/8.
Losing stuff.
You can hand one to me that you're not using.
Yeah, I think 5/8 does the trick. Let's try this. So yeah, we will, Christine asked if, we needed to replace fluid and whatever, and obviously that made well more of a mess than I thought it was gonna make. I didn't expect the hydraulics to be slightly pressurized in that manner. I thought that I had adequately released the pressure in them, but obviously not. There's probably a step. I'm guessing that middle bolt is probably the pressure valve, and I probably, had I known what I was doing, released that first to relieve any pressure in the valve housing. But I didn't know, and I made a mess. We will wash this off in a little bit.
Will hydraulic fluid just come off with water?
No. All right. So I have no idea. There may be I'm guessing that there is somewhere in the full-on manual some kind of reference to torque specs for this. I am going to torque it down a little bit by hand, farm tight as they say, and then I am going to, once we get everything connected, test it, and if it doesn't leak, I'm good. All right, our next step is to connect our hydraulic lever. So it's just, this is I don't know what size this is, 3/16. All right, I don't really know. So I can adjust this to be kind of anywhere I want. I'm not sure where I'm going to want it. I have a feeling that I'm going to want it back here. That's what I'm going to go with for right now. When the seat's down, I'm thinking I don't want this where my leg's going to be, but I feel like I can reach. That's what I'm going with. I don't know.
So you're just installing the handle,
yeah,
right?
3/16 actuating handle this is for the valve. This is what makes that top link contract and expand and makes the implement pitch, is what we're going to be doing with it. So that should be good. This seat is all rusty and messed up, and it's going to go away. We're going to have a new seat coming in a couple of days, so we'll install that as well. So that is our handle. That can be adjusted later once we get it connected and working correctly and we know what we want. Next thing I believe is going to be our bracket and our hoses.
All right, so now we're moving on to do what? Work on the back
We're
bracket?
putting on the bracket that's going to hold the hydraulic lines in place.
All right, so now we're on the back side of the seat. Go for it.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install a bracket that's going to hold our hydraulic lines and our quick connectors.
You're spraying what on it?
In place. This is just a little bit of PV Blaster, WD-40. It's penetrating oil.
Okay.
These,
I'm in tight enough you can't
yeah,
see it.
judging by the look of these have not been off in ages. So I'm just giving them a little bit of lubrication to try to make them come free a little better. I think we're going to need to do a little bit of tappy tap here, or use a persuader, as it were. We'll see what happens. Loose. If you notice what I do with these, especially ones that look like they haven't been taken off, like maybe forever or a really long time, is I'll give it a little bit of the lubricant oil and I go a little bit both ways. So I actually tighten it a tiny bit and I loosen it because it just breaks
to get it working.
Yeah, you just want to break it loose. And these are pretty heavy duty, this stuff, but you know, it's pretty easy to strip out a bolt that has never been taken off, and you know,
Right here.
there we go, perfect.
I'm Nurse Ratchet. Get it? Ratchet?
I have no idea what the remnant of this bracket was. I'm assuming I can just completely get rid of it. It held something on at some point.
Just to note, we're learning our lessons because we did some of the repairs in the grass and lost a couple little things into the grass. So the gravel makes it much easier to see if we drop something.
Yeah, I mean, even better having a nice clean concrete floor to work on.
One day.
Which we do have here at the farm, but currently it is loaded up with a pallet with a couple of transmissions on it and a couple of other things. And being as it is not my tractor shed, I'm not moving people's stuff around. So yeah, I don't know what this was. Whatever it was, was broken. You can see it's sheared off. So it was a bracket that held something on. There's a ground cable here too that's left over. I don't know what that was grounding. This is gonna go in the box of
so we don't
parts.
even need the ground cable. Is that your belief?
Oh, no, this is gonna go back on. This is a 6-volt positive ground system. So basically, the way all these components work are they're one wire. The negative goes to them. The positive is the tractor.
Gotcha.
So this is making it so that this fender is connected to the
so you don't get
ground,
shocked from
if
it?
you will, which allows this to work if it worked, which it doesn't. But for now, I'm not taking this off. I'm literally just doing this.
Ooh, exciting.
I'm just putting a bracket on. The bracket was blue as well. I painted it. It's going to hold a hydraulic line that goes from the side of that valve to here. And then the quick coupler will be here. This is where you would plug in your implement. In this particular case, it's going to be a hydraulic top link. So it's not a high stress thing. It's literally just holding it in place in a nice secure fashion to the back end of the tractor where it's easy to get to when you're hooking something up. So, all right, this is kind of dumb. I might actually just take this off for now. I think I am. I'm going to do that. We got it on video. I'll remember I did it. But it's like I said, it's kind of irrelevant right now.
Well, we're going to replace the fender too.
None of these lights work. So, you know.
We don't know if the bulbs are burnt out.
Yeah, right now,
issues.
the electrical system needs to be completely replaced, or I'm going to replace it. It needs to be gone through section by section and find out why it's not working. But the plan is, in the not too distant future, to actually convert this to a 12-volt system, so that the battery stuff is easier, that I can leave it on a trickle charger that keeps the battery nice and powerful, so it starts every single time, so that we can use modern LED headlights that give us a lot better light, both for the front but also for working when it's a little bit darker out. It's just easier all the way around if we do 12 volt. 6 volt, there's just not a lot of stuff around. So there's our bracket in place. Basically, we're just taking the 2 bolts off this transfer case, taking the ends off them, putting it in there like it was washers, but now it has a bracket. Tighten them down. These were not on there that tight. That should be plenty. And now we're on to the hydraulic lines. So now it's time to connect the hydraulic system. So we've got our top link here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to connect a hose from our valve to the bracket and our quick connectors. So for that, we're going to use some Teflon tape. If I go in that way, that means I want to be wrapped this way.
So the direction does matter, otherwise
Yep. Yeah, you want your tape to be going against the direction that you're spinning. So
How many wraps do you do?
I'm just going to do like 3 or 4. It doesn't need to be crazy, but we're basically sort of using this as a glue, if you will, to ensure that this system, which is definitely under pressure,
Doesn't spurt.
we've got our 7/8 on this side, and we don't know what size it is on this side because nobody had a wrench that big. And we're gonna
Tighten it on.
tighten this on pretty good. We're not gonna go crazy. The main part is it doesn't have to be crazy tight, it has to not leak. So that's what we're gonna be checking for. And we got our dust cap. All right, so that's that side put together. Let's go over to the tractor. Okay, we're going to connect this side to the valve over on the tractor real quick, and then we're going to connect this side to the bracket. So let's go do that. All right, so we got our fitting here. It's going to go into the housing body right here. I'm going to put a little bit of this tape on the end of this hose. So yeah, we're basically just making sure we get a really good seal and that we're not leaking hydraulic fluid. All right, so we got that taped up.
So this, I'm watching top down while he does this.
Okay, then we're gonna thread this in there. There we go. All right, I believe this is 7/8. Let's see. Yeah. You're mechanicking, it's not always easy. They always make it look super easy. They're like, oh yeah, and then you just do this. But it's like a lot of times it's in weird positions and there's things in the way and you don't have exactly the right wrench and you wish you had one that was a little shorter and you don't, and that's just the way it is. And you make do.
What's that yellow thing?
That was the plug that was in
In the hole.
in the hole. It actually was the plug that's in the other hole that I just knocked out by banging into it a couple times.
Gotcha.
So once we get this one tightened down, we will Teflon up and put on the coupler to the other one, and then it will go in the hole that we just opened up. All right, so there we go. That's seated. That should be plenty tight. mean, they get there barely, you know, but like,
All right, so at this point, we got all the hydraulic lines connected, leak-free. Although I will say that they were a little tighter than I'd like, and in the future I think we're going to get a few hydraulic lines made that are about 4 inches longer, so we have a little more play and they're not rubbing. We got them working. Obviously got the hydraulic top link functional and connected. And at that point, we asked Drew to give us a hand removing the IronCraft FL165 Flail mower deck out of the back of the pickup truck. That thing weighs about 800 pounds, so not an item you can lift on your own. He pulled the skid steer around, and we got that dropped down onto the ground and set into place where we could back the tractor up and connect that. And although for some reason we didn't wind up filming a lot of the process of getting the flail mower fitted to the tractor, which actually took some time because each implement kind of goes on each tractor or each, you know, farm machine in its own way. You have to figure it out. It takes a little bit of time.
At some point, your equipment gets big enough that you can't do it by hands. You learn how to back up.
I was trying to straighten him out, and he was like, I got it. I'm like, all right.
Well, no, I mean, it's right here, but this is not exactly.
I would not be muscling it, obviously.
My stuff's too big to muscle.
It's two things. Number one, it's on a cattywampus surface, and also I have no idea which configuration it needs to go in. So I'm kind of guessing here. I'm just trying to figure out, like, you know. All right. So that seems to be okay. Although I would say that I would probably hook that up the opposite way, so the pins are on the outside. But I'm not going to mess with that right now. I just want to get it. That one I'll fool with later. So it took a little while, but we got it figured out. Everything was fitted and done correctly, and then we took it for a test ride. So that's it, mission accomplished. We've got the flail mower and the hydraulic system fit to the tractor. We're cutting grass, and that's going to be it for this one. Thanks so much for joining us again. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time at Big Spruce Farm.